Tonight, the federal government backs Broken Hill's airport upgrade plan, matching the state's contribution. And not happy, Spencer Golf League players to miss round one after a scheduling conflict in the capital.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Hot on the heels of the state government funding announced just days ago, Broken Hill is set to receive even more money for airport upgrades. Federal member for Parks Mark Coulton was in the Silver City to make the big announcement.
Broken Hill is another step closer to welcoming larger aircrafts to the far west. Council secured $4.9 million from the state government last week. Now their federal counterparts have jumped on board too, injecting a further $4.9 million under round 3 of the regional airports program.
A lot of the future developments and not only in tourism but the mining developments will rely on having an airport that's capable of taking larger, high capacity aircraft.
Despite opposing parties being in power, Parks MP Mark Coulton says he's thrilled the two governments work together.
I was really pleased that the new government continued on with the program that was set up by the previous coalition government and honoured that commitment. So it's, I think, a very positive day.
Mr Coulton is calling on the higher-ups to fly in and see what the Silver City has to offer.
I think it's important that the new government, as quickly as possible, understands the great potential that Broken Hill and the Far West has.
The tourism and mining sectors are set to benefit from the upgrades, with easier access to the bush. Broken Hill's booming entertainment industry will also continue to skyrocket, with more planes in and out, making it easier for more movies to be filmed right here in our backyard.
Accessibility is everything. The more accessible we are, the more likely things that happen. And as Mark was saying, I see this as one of the big turning points, and it might be go down as the point where Broken Hill turned around.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Whyalla City Council says it's getting closer to breaking ground on the Foreshore redevelopment project. Council is still in the process of securing money for the build and is asking for patience while they get it sorted.
Slow and steady wins the race. Although major construction work is yet to begin, the Whyalla City Council is adamant that they are making major progress on the city's foreshore redevelopment behind the scenes.
We're really grateful that the Whyalla community came out in droves to comment on the Foreshore Master Plan, and we know the process seems a long one, but that's mainly because we have to source external funding.
The council says it secured the financial support of the state government, Surf Lifesaving Australia as well as SACOM to rebuild the Lifesavers beachside club rooms.
It's a number of things. It's more space. It's also to get the building up to current standard sizes for things like first aid rooms and gyms and training rooms and things like that, which this building just doesn't meet any of those specs now.
That'll be the first one we bring out of the ground, and that's a really exciting community space, not only for the Surf Lifesaving Club but for the shared use that we'll make of this building, including cafe and kiosk and hopefully some hireable community spaces.
The struggle for funding is seemingly never-ending, with the council also looking for more money to get the remaining elements of Stage 1 underway.
They really want to see an uplift in splash play, adventure play, nature play, and the redevelopment of this public realm.
Looking to complete the whole redevelopment within a 10-year time frame, the council says securing funding for the Surf Lifesaving building is a step in the right direction, and ensures the community group can continue on for years to come.
Our membership list all up, there's something like 800 members have been through the Whyalla Surf Lifesaving Club.
Edwin McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Spencer Golf Football League players are frustrated with the SGL's decision to kick off the season during the AFL's gathering round. The league says the date was decided and agreed upon by all clubs, but players remain angry. They have to choose between a local game and a whole round of footy in the state's capital.
Come April 13th, the historic AFL Gathering Round will see all round 5 matches in the AFL played in Adelaide and Mount Barker through to April 16th. but players in the SGL could miss out with round 1 of the Regional League starting on the 15th due to scheduling the SGL Whyalla Association match.
And we want to get our best players to participate as well as Whyalla. It was a joint decision between the Whyalla League and the Spencer Golf Football League that we would play that round, our inter-association match, a week earlier, and that would give all of our players the long weekend off.
SANFL had previously asked all regional competitions to shift their fixtures to accommodate the Magic Round.
Our directive to all leagues on numerous occasions was our preference was for them not to play during that round. There's going to be so many activations going on, whether it be senior level, Auskick level.
We were approached by the SANFL not to play. That was a directive actually from the AFL at one stage, but that was relinquished, and all leagues are allowed to play on that weekend now because it's spread over 5 days. So if you want to see your team play at AFL, you've got plenty of dates that you can go and watch AFL teams play.
But the SGL has been warned that some players and supporters will go to Adelaide regardless of the round 1 fixture, opening up spots for other players, but also impacting on crowd attendance. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, look out for learners. The RAA urging motorists to be considerate of our newest drivers. And improvise, adapt, overcome. Rowers relocate to Port Pirie following Riverland flooding. Welcome back. Learning to drive can be tough, especially if you're trying to learn in a high-pressure environment. With schools returning next week, the RAA is asking motorists to look out for learner drivers and give them plenty of space on our roads.
Back to learning in the classroom and on the road. With South Australian students returning to schools next week, the RAA warns that more learner and provisional licence holders will be driving themselves to school.
Our advice would be for all motorists to look out for them, give them plenty of space, give them plenty of time.
On Monday, police will be positioned at regional schools to monitor car speed through school zones, as well as the behaviour of motorists, with the RAA reporting that more than a quarter of students become victims of road rage while learning, creating concern amongst supervisors who often use drop-off and pick-up school runs as a valuable time to hone their students' skills behind the wheel.
As we return to school, I'm calling on all parents and caregivers, grandparents, to think about the example that you set on the road. Those positive influences, those decisions that they're seeing you make, will be the decisions that they replicate as they get older.
Look out for each other, take your time, and especially watch out for learner drivers because they need all the help they can get on the road.
New data from the Department of Infrastructure and Transport shows that P1 drivers have been involved in over 5,000 crashes since 2017. The RAA linking this rising figure to learners not being able to build a solid foundation of driving skills while on their Ls, saying a supportive and calm environment to learn in will help produce better provisional drivers and safer roads as a whole.
Whilst we see too many people being injured on our roads, I have a lot of faith and a great deal of confidence in our young people because they are bright, they're intelligent.
Edwin McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
At this time of year, schools usually flock to Renmark or Berry for their week-long intensive rowing camp. But due to catastrophic flooding at River Murray, schools have had to improvise.
For the first time ever, Adelaide schools have travelled to Port Pirie for rowing camp.
Rowing camps are really important to the rowing season because it just forces everyone to stay together because in a normal sort of week of training we would have 3 or so sessions on the water, and in those sessions there's going to be people absent or anything, so rowing camp's just really important to have everyone together.
And although the location is different, most things have stayed the same, like the early morning trainings and 3 long training sessions a day. Students said they have enjoyed rowing on different waters and exploring a new place.
Be able to row next to these massive cargo ships, so definitely a different environment to West Lakes where we usually row.
been an eye-opening experience, I think, for some of them to sort of realise, oh, there's this new, nice, big country town in another location down in South Australia. So it's been good to see that as well.
Helping them adapt to their new surroundings are the locals. From sharing their knowledge about when ships come in to finding out when the tides go in and out. In exchange, residents have had a free show watching the rowers train.
It's amazing to see some of these rowers on the water are obviously will be state representatives. There are some state representatives and probably some of them may even finish up rowing for Australia. So we've got some very elite rowers rowing out here with the schools.
The Port Pirie Rowing Club hopes watching these talented athletes inspires locals to give rowing a go, saying it's great for fitness and recovering from injuries. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. A wind turbine catches fire on the Eyre Peninsula. And public schools to supply free menstrual products for students in the Far West. Welcome back. A wind turbine caught fire in Sleaford last night. 3 CFS trucks as well as Sapole were called out to Cathedral Rocks wind farm around 10 p.m. after reports came in of a blaze 90 metres in the air. Emergency crews believe the fire started in the motor before spreading to at least 2 of the blades. From there, the flames spread to the ground, sparking a grass fire. A CFS spokesperson has told 7 Spencer Golf News their main concern was the amount of smoke billowing out into the air, but also said the wind farm was remote enough to not impact anyone nearby. Public school students in Broken Hill will have access to free menstrual products this year. 4,600 sanitary dispensers have been installed across New South Wales schools as part of a statewide program to overcome barriers in accessing menstrual hygiene products. The state government is also backing the Periods, Pain and Endometriosis program, which aims to educate students, parents and teachers about endometriosis and pelvic pain via early intervention strategies. Minister for Women Bronnie Taylor says by openly discussing periods, endometriosis and reproductive health, we are removing the taboo around women's health issues. With Australia Day just around the corner, councils are preparing for their events. And Barunga West is excited to try out its new equipment after receiving more than $16,000 from the National Australia Day Council and the Australian Government.
The Barunga West foreshore is expecting quite the crowd at the Australia Day events tomorrow, making good use of recent funding to pull off a fun-filled Thursday.
We've used that funding to buy seats for those people that struggle to walk and also a new PA system for Butte.
Australia Day, a national public holiday since 1988, has long been a day spent recognising outstanding locals.
Judy Code from Fisherman Bay has won the Port Broughton and surrounding districts award, and Alan Axford from Butte and Alan's very well known as well, has won the Butte and surrounding districts award.
Events will also take place at Solomon Town Beach in Port Pirie, with a breakfast at 8:30 followed by games and entertainment for the whole family.
Come along to our Australia Day celebrations.
But for others, January 26 is a solemn occasion. More than 1,000 people are expected to turn out for the Survival Day March in the Adelaide CBD tomorrow. Protesters again pushing to change the date. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Significant drops in petrol and diesel prices across the Spencer Gulf. And a warm weekend ahead. We'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. There's been some major relief at the Bowsers this week, with most of our cities experiencing a pleasant drop in prices. Here's Daniel Pizarro with this week's Fuel Watch.
With the school holidays nearing their end and with Australia Day just around the corner, it might be a good time to fill up at the pump. Looking at unleaded prices, and there's been some major falls from last week. The price has only dropped a fraction in Port Lincoln, but unleaded 91 is just under $1.77 a litre in Whyalla, down over 7 cents. Port Augusta saw an even bigger fall in price, down over 8 cents a litre from last week. Broken Hill's unleaded continues to fall, now under $1.75 per litre. But Adelaide still is the cheapest. You can get it there for just under $1.71 per litre. Next, diesel prices have also seen big decreases from last week. Whyalla's pumps cost just under $2.02 per litre, down 9 cents. Prices in Port Pirie decreased from over $2.07 last week to under $1.98 per litre. Broken Hill is seeing diesel at under $2 a litre, down a whopping 11 cents. In the state capital, prices have dropped to under $1.90. Those with LPG vehicles won't see much change at the Bowser, with prices stagnant from last week across South Australia and Broken Hill, except for those lucky ones in Port Pirie. You can get LPG for $1.09 per litre, down from $1.17, so you'll get a fatter wallet. So good news at the pump for petrol and diesel fans overall, but not as good for LPG users. Remember to drive safely if you're going away for the Australia Day public holiday and the weekend, as there'll be more vehicles on our roads. That's Fuel Watch.
Indeed, Daniel, thank you. Well, it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, single digits at Cummins Airport this morning.
Indeed, Maddie, and while not that unusual for this time of year, it was still cold, just 7.8 degrees. In fact, the coldest it's been since the 8th of December. Elsewhere, 25.8 degrees in Whyalla this afternoon. Port Lincoln was 24.5 just after 1 p.m. Broken Hill recorded a very warm 38.6 degrees at 3:45. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 37 degrees in Cooper Pedy. It was 32 in Woodner and Port Pirie. Port Augusta was around 30 degrees today, 25 in Kadina, 24 in the capital. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a cold front will pass through the south of the state later this evening. Tomorrow, high pressure system will develop south of the Bight before moving east to be over the Tasman Sea on Friday. A trough and cold front will move across from the west Friday and over the weekend. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. South to southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, seas between 1 and 1.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre, increasing to 1.5 metres south of Cal to Wallaroo around midday. Partly cloudy and between 15 and 24 degrees in Port Lincoln tomorrow, mostly sunny and 26 degrees in Cleve. Woodner a sunny top of 25 degrees on Thursday. Whyalla mostly sunny and set to reach a high of 29 degrees, 33 degrees in Port Augusta. Kadina will be mostly sunny as well, between 13 and 31 degrees. Mostly sunny and set to reach a high of 33 in Port Pirie, between 12 and 29 in Clare. Broken Hill sunny and 34 degrees, down to 18 tonight. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Friday, and a decent chunk of our map is in the high 30s and early 40s. 43 degrees in Woodner, windy in Cooper Pedy, 42 there, sunny and 41 in Port Augusta, Port Pirie 40, 37 in Broken Hill and Adelaide, and it will be even warmer in Port Lincoln, 33 degrees there. Taking a look at Saturday's outlook now, and what a difference. It will still be hot, but not as intense as the Friday. Windy and 30 degrees in Whyalla, possible rain and 28 in Woodner, 24 in Port Lincoln, possible showers there too, 33 in Port Pirie, Broken Hill a very warm 40 degrees. Moving on to Sunday's map now, 23 in Port Lincoln, 29 in Kadina, partly cloudy tops of 30 degrees in Woodner, Whyalla and Port Pirie, 31 in Broken Hill. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I do hope everyone manages to stay cool, especially on Friday. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.